everybody. It's Kyle, and I'm coming to you from a Tuesday morning commute into work. Tried to record yesterday afternoon on the way back from work, but it was a rough day yesterday. Pretty tired. We had to move all our offices and our cubicles and all that stuff, and they're doing a lot of construction where I work, so it's all going to pay off in the end, but it's kind of a hassle yesterday, so I was pretty exhausted. So I thought I would try again. Let me go over a couple different things. I know I usually cover what's bugging me. Well, it kind of ties into something that I'm into right now, which is a podcast that I just started listening to. I like a lot. It's not really a new one. It's been around. I think they're on their second season already. I don't know about seasons on podcasts, but whatever. They're on their second group of releases, and it's called American Hysteria. And it's pretty interesting. It's something I've talked about on here before. I think I brought up the whole Halloween candy thing. You know, the whole hysteria around poisoning of candy on Halloween for little kids. And the fact that it's really actually only happened one time where candy was poisoned, and it was a father that poisoned candy. He had life insurance policies on all of his children. And one boy died as a result of that. That was 1974. So 45 years ago this happened. Ever since then, we've been shitballs crazy every Halloween about getting our candy x-rayed for razor blades and for needles and for poison. The interesting thing is that, yes, there also have been needles and razor blades. That's been another common fear around Halloween, but that is for like fruit, like apples and bananas and stuff like that. I gotta be honest with you, I don't know who the fuck eats fruit on Halloween. I mean, I know people give it out, but I also remember being a little shit and throwing those apples back at those people's houses later on like a little asshole. And I wasn't alone. Lots of us did it because you give out fucking candy on Halloween. That's all there is to it. I know some people would give out quarters. That was kind of cool, whatever. But candy is the main deal that you're after on Halloween. So there was a case also, I believe, of some needles that were stuck in either apples or bananas. I can't really remember. And there was a teenager who punctured his lip, but that also happened a long, long time ago, and that's the only case of a stranger tampering with candy or fruit on Halloween and giving it out to people randomly. The deal with the father and the candy and poison in the candy, he basically had taken life insurance policies out on all his children, and a long time before that, months before that, and then he took out another one right before it for each of his children. So he was set to get about, I think it was like $60,000 for one kid, and he poisoned some pixie sticks with cyanide. The extra big pixie sticks, I know we've all seen those. The long plastic tube, I think it's almost 2 feet long, with pixie stick stuff in it, powder. And anyway, he put a bunch of cyanide in it. Ended up, the boy, I guess he stapled them back shut after he put the cyanide in it. And so, lucky, because it was very hard to get into, the other kids who got them, including a neighbor kid, were unable to open them. But his son was trying to open it, and he actually even helped him open it. And the kid went to eat it. He said it tasted real bitter, and he didn't care for it. And so then his dad gave him some juice or something like that to drink with it. So it was sweet. And the kid went to bed, and within hours he was dead. The police investigated. Of course, there was this mass hysteria. And they went to all the houses. The father's like, I think I remember what house it was at. He really played it up. And it got to the point where the police leaned on him hard enough because he made up a story about some house where a mysterious hand reached out and put the candy in the bags and some bullshit like that. and the cops knew it was him, and he finally admitted to it, and that was it. I don't think he was sentenced. Maybe he was sentenced to death. He might have been sentenced to death. I think he was. Anyway, good riddance, right? But that's the only time that's ever happened. And the same thing with the needles in the banana or the apples or whatever. It's only actually really happened one time. It's kind of like the shoe bomber guy. He made a poorly constructed bomb that goes in his shoe. It didn't even work in the first place. And from that point forward, we have to take our fucking shoes off every time we get on an airplane. It is insane. So it's really interesting podcast. The next episode I'm due to listen to is about the Illuminati, which I find humorous as well. Yeah, I think there's a lot of rich people who make big decisions and all that shit. But at the same time, I don't think it's this giant secret organization that's all veiled in shadows and having ritual meetings and all this garbage. I just think there's a lot of rich people that make a lot of decisions, and they make shitty decisions sometimes. Anyway, so it's pretty interesting. Check out that podcast if you get a chance. But I think what it really does is it gets to one real big point here. And this is a big thing that I think is missing in our society. And that is the ability to have a self-realization. To understand yourself, to admit to yourself that maybe thoughts or things that you thought were true or were real are silly or whatever, or maybe decisions you've made were bad, or you made them for the wrong reasons, mistakes you've made. And I think there's not a lot of that anymore, you know? It's real interesting. I mean, if you look at our political climate, it's just really strange. And I was talking to my mom about this yesterday. We were talking. I talk to her every week. I was talking to her on the way to work. And we were talking about how it used to be, you know, if you said something and it was wrong and it's proven wrong by fact, that you let go and you say, okay, well, I guess I was wrong. And you move on. That went all the way up until recently. Now, it's this bullshit of, well, I've got facts of my own, or fake news, or whatever garbage speak you want to use. You know? It doesn't really matter what your political leanings are. If you are to go speak to Congress, if you have a hearing with Congress, you need to fucking go. I don't give a shit who you are. The fact that people are being told not to go and not owning up to the truth and not having any self-realization, self-awareness is absurd. And we're sending a bad message to all of our citizens that it's okay to be a fucking dumbass and do things that aren't legally allowed and get away with it if you just don't go. How long before people start just not going to court? It can't be long, can it? I mean, it's going to happen. I know people don't go to court anyway, and then there's a warrant out for their arrest, and then that's it, you know. But I mean, how long before people start to believe they have the same abilities as a Kellyanne Conway or William Barr, I believe it is, who just doesn't fucking show up to hearings because they don't want to. That's bullshit, dude. If you have a hearing, I don't care how hard it is on you or whatever, you're in public office. It's your job. It's just like we were talking about. I was talking with another friend of mine. They're getting ready to do this thing in the school district where I live, and it's white privilege awareness type training for the teachers. And there's a lot of teachers bitching about it. And, you know, maybe it's a little overkill. I don't know. I think unless you're a complete fucking idiot, you realize there is some white privilege in this world, you know? But I guess if you're an idiot, they have to have training for everybody. So they're going to do this training, and that's just how it is. They're not going to do it for the kids. They're not going to do it for anyone else. It's for teachers and for staff at schools. And okay, so what? You know? But I've heard people say, well, I'm not a racist, so I don't need to go. You know? Well, tell you what, I am not a sexual predator, and I don't sexually harass people at work, but I have to do sexual harassment training every year. I've never been in a tornado or in a fire, but we have to do tornado and fire drills every year. So it's a dumb point, man. Just go to it and shut the fuck up, all right? Because you're paid by us, by our tax dollars, and if we agree that, or the board agrees that you should go through this training, you're going to go through this training and you're going to shut your ass and deal with it. And I just don't understand that attitude now of, well, not me, you know, just like I was talking about with these people refusing to testify at these hearings. I don't get it. And it's the same thing as people when they're confronted with facts that prove what they're saying is wrong, just denying facts. You know, there's a whole new movement of people who believe the earth is flat. Guys, you only have to go into a plane one time to realize the earth is not flat. You don't even have to go into a plane. You can go in a really tall building and just look at the curvature of the earth and the horizon. It's pretty fucking simple, man. And it only makes sense with the way things work. But for some strange reason, we're starting to abandon science. And I just think that it's all in line with, you know, thinking you're above the law or that you don't have to do things. You know, if you're a private citizen and you refuse to show up to your court date, that's your fucking ass, dude. You got a warrant out for your arrest. If you get pulled over or whatever, you're going to jail. So why is it these people who are called to testify in front of Congress are not in trouble? I don't get it. Again, it's not a self-awareness. There's no self-awareness. There's no self-realization. So anyway, it's interesting. And check out that podcast if you get a chance. Again, American Hysteria. I really like it. You know, some of the people on it, I don't know. But you might feel the same way about me. And I'm the only people on this one, right? All right, so things that I'm into right now. You know, I watched one of the new Black Mirror episodes. There's 3 new episodes right now. I watched the second one, I believe, which deals a little bit with social networking and with the gentleman who drives kind of Uber or Lyft type scenario, and just stuff with social media. It's really touching, and it's really sad story and a bummer, but pretty amazing at the same time. And I just really appreciated that episode, and my son and I watched it, and we were both kind of in shock with everything that went down in it. It wasn't super graphic. I mean, there's some language, but there was no real sexual stuff in it, and there was a little bit of violence. But anyway, it's pretty interesting. If you get the chance, check that out. Still trying to finish up that first season of Twilight Zone. They're pretty good episodes. I haven't liked all of them, but I didn't like all the episodes of the original Twilight Zone, man. There's some real goofy ass shit going on in some of those. So it's no big surprise that I don't like every episode of the new one either. I think they're right on par with the way things are supposed to be. Looking to get Us on 4K Blu-ray. We've watched it as a family, and I love that movie, man. I think it's really different, novel way of doing things. No matter what anybody says, I think it's a really out there concept, and the way that it's executed is pretty damn cool. So give that movie a chance. If you haven't seen it, be prepared for something totally new and different, and kind of a mind fuck, really. But it's really good, man. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's very well executed. Even if you don't particularly care for the story or the idea behind it, it's well made, well directed, well written. It's pretty cool. I like it. And of course, shit, man, Tim Heidecker's in it. So my son is completely on board because he's a huge Tim and Eric fan, and actually really loves Tim Heidecker and his podcast. And that's pretty damn foul itself. But yeah, it's a different day and age, man. We would have been listening to that shit when I was 12 or 13 also. And I think we probably watched crazier things, back in the day. I'm reading a book, a trade paperback by Grant Morrison called Nameless. It's really interesting. His stuff is really weird. If you haven't read a lot of Grant Morrison stuff, well, it's going to be strange. So, but I really like it. It's interesting. I just need to finish that one up. Other than that, I really can't think of much else. There's no real music I've really been into lately. I have been listening to an audiobook. I'm going to go ahead and cut that out and forget that. And no real music that's real different lately. I've been listening to some more of that K-hip-hop, Korean hip-hop, South Korea. K-pop. Same kind of thing, but it's just rap and hip-hop. I really dig it. Really like it a lot. I have been listening to a lot of Weezer lately. Kind of gone back to them a little bit. And I get why people don't like them, but I still like them. I think they were a pretty big band when I was growing up, and I can see why. The Teal album is really interesting. If you haven't listened to the Teal album, what they've done is they took a bunch of 80s hits and kind of re-recorded them. Thus Teal, right? Because that was kind of a hot color back in the late 80s, early 90s. But they took a bunch of 80s hits and re-recorded them. I know you probably heard their cover of Roseanne and Africa. They also do Take On Me and several other ones. Check it out if you get a chance. Pretty cool. But their Black album I really like. That's their newest one. And it's nice and heavy, and I dig it. I dig their heavy guitar riffs and their simplistic lyrics, man. I think they're a fun band, definitely. I need to go see them. But that's about it, guys. Sorry for all the ums. I apologize. That's about it. Not much else going on. I mean, there's a few things out there I'd like to see. I haven't had a chance yet. I think I told you guys I watched the movie Versus. It's a Japanese... Oh, man, I don't really know how to explain it, but yeah, I talked about it. I'm pretty sure with you guys. Pretty amazing. If you haven't seen that film, I would check it out. But again, you do really have to be ready for some very graphic violence. I watched that one on my own. My wife caught the end of it, but it was just too much for her. So it's gory, but it's a very interesting idea too. And I've been into time travel stuff and stuff like that for a long time, and it's gets into that. There's some zombie action in it. There's some Yakuza or crime action in it. Some samurai action. It's got it all, man. Check it out if you get a chance. Versus from the year 2000, Japanese film. That's about it. I can't really think of anything else to talk with you guys about. I'll be back next week with another episode. I'm not sure if I'll do it on Monday or Tuesday. It doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to get one out a week. That's all I can think of. But until next time, get off my lawn.